Hello everyone, welcome to week 52. It's the final one of the year of the daily/weekly race guide, and as you can see in the background, we're at Willow Springs. So let's have a look at the race details first of all. We are racing 4 laps here at Willow Springs. It's a grid start as always with race day. It's very unusual not to be a grid start, and we are on sport soft tyres. Now, as you can see in the background, we are in Porsches. Now, this is quite a common combo with these two Porsches. We have the 993 Carrera RS CS95 and also the 997 GT3. That's a little bit more stable than the Carrera, although the Carrera was the one on top of the leaderboards. So that's the one I went with in the race. Let's jump to that race then. I'll talk you through some tips, tricks, of course, a lot of Narnia visits, and also a lap guide. Here we are then at the start. Grid start, as I said, and you see a lot of people picking the GT3 just because it's that bit more stable, being Quinton and also Wernie Oy there, being the ballers there in the Carrera RS as we get ready. So watch out to control on one initially, just to get yourself going here. Always better to just be safe, or better to be safe than sorry. As off we go, I turn it off and then instantly hit the rev limiter. Of course I do, and off we go then. Now you saw my brake balance there. If you want brake balances, they're all in the description, but I'm on -1 here, I think, from memory, as we go into turn 1 here. So fairly clean start from us. I think in lower splits you are going to see contact straight off the bat here, and especially through this right-hander, as you just see the Belgian driver there, Heisenberg, absolutely launch it down the inside. So I think, okay, well, I'll just come back on the inside there, and you're instantly going to start seeing a little bit of contact there, but that's obviously just being pushed tight. A lot of oversteer here as well, and again in towards this left-hander, absolutely launching it down the inside there. Lucky that he didn't take out dart play there, but fortunately we are still racing clean, so we're going to try and go around the outside here. Gives me room there, so lovely stuff. And finally up into P11 as we head towards this left-hander now then. And yeah, you've got to be very careful. You're already seeing a little bit of oversteer, a lot of oversteer actually, to be honest with you, as you'll see it through here. Way there we go. And we're going to head to basically the invitation to Narnia, this corner. We're going to call it Narnia. Just the whole corner is Narnia, or the Shadow Realm, whatever you want to call it, because literally that is where you go, as the Italian in front of me is about to find out as I head off.
Hello darkness, my old friend.
To the Shadow Realm. His friend there, Narnia or the Shadow Realm, whichever one you want to use, but up into P8. So let's go into a lap guide then. Let me explain how you can try and survive Willow Springs here in the Porsches. So heading towards turn 1, I'm mainly looking for the 100-meter board here. You can see the cones are there as well. And I'm braking just before that. I'm going to take it nice and easy. I'm basically going to drop to 4th gear, roll off the brakes as well. I'm trying to just make sure the car stays central with the weight and doesn't oversteer or understeer. As you see, Quinton gets a little bit of oversteer there. Now heading in towards this right, again, it's all about stability. So I dab the brakes a little bit here, but it's all about balancing the throttle. You can see I get a little bit of oversteer. You can actually have some really good drifts around here, to be honest. Oh, here we go. We're just kicking out a bit. You just see the car rotating around. Look at that. Beautiful bit of drifting there. Quinton does the same as well. Heading towards the left then. On the right hand side, you've got the 50-meter board, but I was actually just using the cones. That's why I've not highlighted them. I'm literally using the cones. Then they shouldn't get wiped out, to be honest with you, and they're easy to follow, so whack the cones on or use a 50-meter board. Nice and easy there. As you see, Quinton gets it all sorts of wrong there, so down the inside of Quinton. Here it's all about balancing the car, so I was just gently on the throttle, making sure I don't apply too much there, making sure the car doesn't oversteer. Heading down towards this left-hander then, the same usual brake marker here. Where that curb ends, that is my brake marker. You see I'm braking just before that here, and I want to really get it chucked into the inside. So I'm straight line braking towards the apex here, and try and get it chucked in. Lovely little clip of the apex, and through we go. We're staying in 4th here to avoid any wheel spin in 3rd gear. As we go over the crest of the hill, it spits the car out there, which is why this car is a little bit more sketchier than the GT3 car. It does it a little bit more extreme in this car, as we then head towards this right-hander. Now this is such a hard corner to get right, especially when the brake boards have all been wiped out, like in this scenario. We've got the 250 board, the 201's gone. However, there's a Toyota house on that left-hand side, billboard, and then the shed, another cabin there. So basically use that as your reference here. When you start seeing that at the edge of your screen, you know you need to be safe here. As somebody else goes off, and another one. The victims are there for days as another victim comes back on there. So up into P4. And that is the lap guide done in a nutshell. So we're going to have a little bit of a race here with Gadget Man and Quinton as we just speed through the right-hander here. You just saw Quinton on the radar getting oversteer again. So through here we go, and you're just going to see Gadget Man do the same as Quinton, but not as extreme. As I say, it's a little bit more stable than this car. Into the braking zone we go. A little bit of contact there, nothing major. I thought initially I'd made a mistake there, but I hadn't, looking back at this footage now, but it is what it is. In towards the left we go, trying to get that cut back. And then we just get a little bit loose there. And Quinton then tries to go around the outside. So I tap Quinton, try and push him back. I'm a bit further ahead than the rear quarter there, so I won't pit him. But annoyingly, the game gives a penalty. And it wasn't Quinton's fault. Stupid game. It wasn't Quinton's fault. I was trying to save the damn guy. You stupid game. Never mind. Sorry, Quinton. But we carry on all the same as we continue through the ride. We can't do much here. If you do want to take part in these daily race guides, 1 PM GMT is when I start. I do race B, then race C, and then race A. And then we're going to continue on to the last lap. Now let's see if we can make any moves on Gadget Man. Then in towards the left we go. As you see, I'm just trying to be smooth on the brakes. Notice I'm trying to keep the car stable with that weight. That's what I was talking about earlier on. As we then head towards his right. And again, I'm not braking this time now. I'm just letting the car loose. Dab the brake a little bit there, nothing major. Balancing that throttle up and down like a yo-yo. Trying to get close. Get a lovely little line coming back here. Really nice line through the corner there. It's a little bit of oversteer, but we catch it very nicely. In towards the brake as well. I don't change gear this time. I'm a bit unsure whether you should change gear there. I must admit I was indecisive during the race, but it doesn't really matter too much because you are going into that braking zone. Through the right we go. Gadget Man trying to defend P3 for his life here. As we then head towards this braking zone again, you want to try and get it chucked in. Clip the curve beautifully there. In 4th gear, I get a really good line through this corner now. And this is quite a common move to do if you can do it, but Gadget Man takes that very nicely. So we've got the run on Gadget Man. This is why this Porsche is better than the GT3 here. It pushes me quite tight here. I have to lift off to avoid that understeer. I think if it was somebody else, maybe they would have pushed a little bit, but I'm not going to do that, of course. And you've got to be careful for doing this. So Gadget Man's going to go for the full racing line here, but very easy to launch one down the inside. I decide to back out of it. A lot of people may launch it there, so just be careful of that. We've seen that even at World Tour events, people launching it down the inside there if a gap's available. So be careful. A good little race there with Gadget Man and Quinton and a few of the other guys in this race. That's going to be it for race A. I think in the lower splits it's going to be a bit carnagey. This one was a little bit fine, so just be careful, I would say. You're really going to have to learn the car before you get involved in the race. Let's head to Austria then for race B, which of course means the Red Bull Ring, and we are in Group 3 cars, as you can see in the background. Let's have a look at the race details then. We are racing 5 laps here at the Red Bull Ring. It's a rolling start, and we are on racing hard tyres. As I say, Group 3 cars. Now, Red Bull Ring, really more of a power circuit than a handling circuit, although handling cars can still hold their own in that mid-section of the circuit. I'd prefer a power car, especially in race B. There's no strategy there. The only way you're going to overtake really is with power. So get a power car. I chose the Viper in this situation. Let's jump to that race then. I'll talk you through some more tips, tricks, and also a lap guide once again. Look at that, a Lamborghini on pole position. Shout out to you, Daco, for that. As you see, mainly power cars there. V12 Vantage, fair few Vipers. We've got an M6, we've got Porsche in there. Porsche was actually top, actually. Believe it or not, even though it's a power circuit, Porsche is up there, so fair play. I can't remember who got that time, but fair play to you. So, for the start of the race, if you start at the back, or near the back, you've got the last corner to deal with. Now, you might want to use traction control here. I don't in this situation. I'm just going to short shift to 3rd gear, and round we go. We're going to go straight into the lap guide as well. Lap 1, rolling start. There's enough gap there where I can explain the brake markers, which are really easy at Red Bull Ring. They're the same ones we always use at this circuit. So, literally turn 1, brake just before the 100-meter board. There's no point being super aggressive into turn 1 because it's better to have a better exit than a really fast entry. So I always brake a little bit earlier here anyway. Really try and clip the apex, get it turned and accelerate through the corner there, and we continue on. Just be careful about the penalty if you go too wide on turn 1. So heading towards turn number 2 now, and I said that in a bit of a weird way, didn't I? Basically, again, 100-meter board, and I'm braking a little bit earlier here just because of what's happening up ahead, lots of cars everywhere, but I'm literally braking right before this 100-meter board on the left-hand side, usually. Now, I'm actually going to try and look around the outside here, and then realise everybody's understeering off to Narnia, so I'm like, oh, okay, I'll try and pull it back here, so we gain 2 positions there. Happy days. And we continue on getting that slipstream from the Aston Martin up ahead as we then head down the hill. So on the left hand side you are once again looking for the 100-meter board, but you're braking a little bit earlier than the 100-meter board this time. Whereas on turn 2 you're braking right at it. This one you'll be braking like around 120 meters or so, but that's obviously your marker, your guide there, the 100-meter board. So down the inside of the Polish driver in the Aston Martin, we tried to follow the Spaniard in the Porsche. Happy days. We're about to get 2 more positions, hopefully. Let's see what happens here. It's not the 100-meter board this time. It's the 50-meter board. Or the white line, of course, on the right-hand side. You can use that as well. Bit more in your peripheral vision, I guess. More in the centre of your vision if you want to use that white line. But that's what you want to use here as we then truck it in here. Now, we've got to give space on the inside there for wee Dan, the British driver, as we go to side-by-side. Lovely bit of side-by-side action. Anyway, the second corner here of this mid-section, basically where this tarmac here, where the short circuit meets the main circuit, as it starts there, that's where I brake usually. I'm braking a little bit later than normal here, just as I'm on the outside, trying to get around the outside. A little bit of contact there, nothing major, but we get that position. I think Dan thought it was his fault there. It might be a tiny bit, but nothing major. You know, we were racing clean there for a large portion. Heading towards this last section then, the marshals on the left hand side, good marker here, you know, very bright, very obvious to see. Braking before them, you see I'm braking actually under cones here, but maybe just a bit after, but before the cone, before the marshals, but a bit after the cones. Final corner, see that Austrian flag there on the left hand side, literally you're just braking at the end of that. I'm braking just before it here. I am going to turn in a little bit too soon though. I'm doing this in 4th gear in the Viper if you are interested, and through we go, we accelerate out of there. Now let's get on with some racing then. So, head your lap guide. Let's see what we can do in the 5 laps then here at Redbull Ring. Quite a nice amount that 5 laps actually, so shout out for the 5 laps. Polyphony Digital as through we go. We get a really good run on the Spaniard here, go right to the right hand side. That's in the Gulf Porsche here. So we're going to head towards turn number 2. And one of the key things here is obviously to try and maintain the apex here, and that way you're not going to get cut back. So I'm braking fairly early here. You can see he actually was gaining on me under braking, really slowed down the apex. He can't really go around the outside, it's very tricky to do. Can go for the cutback but doesn't. So we maintain that position. Good race there with the Spaniard as we head on to a bit later on. Lap number 3 then. We're just behind Just Dio there. A shout out to you, Just Dio. In towards the braking zone we go. Just got a little bit deep, as do we effectively, but we put the foot down a bit sooner. We're going to try and go around the outside. Obviously we've got the power in the Viper here. The Viper V10 coming into play. In towards the left-hander we go. And we're looking to try and get the job done, but the Porsche maintains good speed around the outside. That's the joy of having a handling car there. In towards the second part here. I slowed it down a little bit too much here, in my opinion. I probably should have raced a little bit more. But we continue on racing Just Dio here. You see a penalty up ahead there for a British driver. Who's that? That's Acts Bad. Looking to get round the Porsche of Just Dio at the same time here. In towards the braking zone we go. We're on a bit of a weird line here. I have to really slow the car down there. But we get the job done. In towards the final corner we go then. With the apex, and off we go and continue on. Nothing much more happens in the race, to be honest with you. I'll just try and pile on here, catch up to the Austrian driver here at his own home circuit there, Rob98. Got a little bit deeper here into the last corner, and then the final corner, as I say, the Austrian flag on the left hand side. Use that, round we go. We're actually going to get the fastest lap here, 29.1. Definitely get in the 28s, no problem here, once you get used to the circuit. But this is probably my favourite race of the week. We will get it right. A shout out to anyone who was in that race. You know, there's a fair few of you there. Mew Mew, you wanted a hello. There's a hello. Let's head to Germany then for race C. And yes, we are at the Nurburgring 24-hour, quite literally 24 hours. As you can see, it's at night. So we've got a night race. Quite unusual for PD, to be fair. So, you know, we've got something different again. Not one of my favourite circuits, but let's have a look at the race details first of all. We are racing 2 laps here at the Nurburgring 24-hour layout. It's a rolling start, racing hard tyres, fuel usage times 2, tyre wear times 5, no strategy involved, just go out there and have a race. Now, with the Nurburgring 24-hour, I don't do lap guides. If you're after a lap guide for this, I'm not doing one, so sorry for that, or not sorry, because I absolutely hate this circuit. It's not a race circuit, I hate it, but I know some people like racing it, so let's jump to the race then. I'll show you what happened in the race, and why I don't like it, and also what you can expect during the event. Here we are then at the start of the grid. You can see a Viper is on pole. Dodge is the new meta manufacturer, I've got to say. Dodge in Group 3, Dodge in Group 4. Wow, well you can see a mixture of cars there. Just Dio in the LCZ. Well, good luck with that one, mate. You see Quinton behind me in the Mercedes. Obviously, Quinton's racing in the Mercedes this year, so it was no surprise that Quinton chose the Mercedes there. As you can see where we're starting here with a little bit of freeze with the Elgato there. That's not good, is it? As we get ready for the countdown. Burn fuel at the start, by the way. You can do that, happy days. We started on a very awkward place there. As you're going to lose slipstream of P16 here, Quinton's going to be all over my trumpet. Now remember, tyre wear is on, so tyre temperatures do exist. We're at night, so they're even colder than normal. go for a bit of a weave on the start-finish straight. Well worthwhile doing. As we head towards turn 1, normally I look for a tree. You can't just see the damn thing there. In towards the braking zone. I actually thought I broke too early, realised I hadn't, and then, yeah, so I you noticed me on 50% brake, then I realised I was not braking enough, and then, yeah. We didn't have the best of turn 1, so let's put it that way. You can see Quinton all over my trumpet here. And we have the most German name in existence in front of us, Bummerletzter GT, and in capital letters as well, like, you know, Bummerletzter! Yeah, proper German name there. As through the right, I might be insulting about 5 billion people here. I have no idea what that even means, whether it's just a surname or whatever. But we continue on all the same. So you can see they're in the Porsche, a very bright Porsche as well, as you'll see shortly. How bright the headlights bounce off this thing. Look how bright it is. Oh, it's funny. As through we go. And we continue on up the hill then into the Schumacher S, right behind the Porsche here. As we clip the left and then the right. I think you can do that flat out, to be honest with you. I didn't really experience too many issues there. Looking to try and get the move done down in towards the left hand here. Obviously the GP circuit is the best place to make moves here, as we don't get it quite done, and Quinton goes, thanks very much Tidge, I'll take that place. You left a nice lovely gap there. And yes indeed I did, and Quinton gets that place in the Mercedes SLS here, as we're now going to have a choice. Where do we go? Do we go to the left? Do we go in the middle? Or do we stay with Quinton? We're going to try and stay with Quinton. Look how bright those lights are. My word, what a glare and a half that is. In towards the left we go. We try and go around the outside at the chicane. Not the best of attempts there. We did get cut off a little bit by the German as well, but nothing major. We continue racing, and I do like that chicane, by the way. I always say it. That should be the chicane we use in GT3, not the dodgy F1 one or whatever one we use. Anyway, into the left we go. A bit tight there. Not going to quite work. And this is why I don't like the Nurburgring 24-hour layout. There's nowhere to really overtake. You can even see Quinton up ahead, really struggling to make places here. Quinton's fast here. I'm not fast here. And look, Quinton's still struggling to make the moves here, as I just outbrake myself a little bit here. I was also struggling, bizarrely. I don't know if anyone else has had this. My car was oversteering like nuts on this first lap, and then it was fine on the second lap. It was really bizarre. I have no idea what happened. As you see, we're just on fast forward at the moment, just trying to catch up to the action here. As through this fast left we go in towards the braking zone, and we're about to see another victim into the gravel. I think that's Mew Mew. It is indeed. Oh, rip a Roni to you, my friend, as we continue now down towards the foxhole. So obviously this is a place where lots of accidents can happen, especially if you go side by side. It's the slipstream area, so you can see Quinton trying to go for the move there, not going to quite work out, backs out of it. But I'm not sure two people did back out of it here, as we see two Audis, I think they were, actually in Narnia land. And yeah, well, we're up to P15 through no fault of our own, which is good. So that's one of the critical things here, I suppose, that if you are going to race here, you need to make places with the hope that other people make mistakes. You see Quinton finally getting the move done on the Polish driver up ahead on the Viper. So Quinton up into P12. So he's not made that much more ground, even though he's much quicker than me here, because you just get stuck behind people. You see there, the Polish driver makes mistakes. The German tries to go around the outside, not going to quite work here. So we're going to go down the inside of the German here, who just cuts me tight there as well. And we leave racing room on the exit, and we get that position. Happy days, up into P14. We actually made a move here at the Nurburgring. Happy days, we don't do that very often. Into the right we go then, just trying to maintain some form of speed here, and I'm going to plonk it in the middle of the road here, so no overtaking attempt can happen, as the Polish driver goes for the lawnmower edition in this daily race guide there. And going to get a penalty for that as well. We are going to talk about penalties a little bit later on, so don't cut it, you get a penalty. There you go, very nice and simple for you in this video. So we're going to try and put a lot of pressure on this Polish driver now to try and get past, so we can you know, catch up to Quinton and hopefully keep up with Quinton as we continue up the hill. So can we do that is the question. You can see how close we are. The full glare of those headlights in the back of that Viper up ahead, the orange and blue Viper. In towards the right we go. So in terms of brake markers, by the way, I'm using the cones. I'm literally, all I'm using is the cones. Now the cones are good in places, and they are absolutely atrocious in places. So be careful. You're going to have to pick out your own brake markers here. We're at night, remember, as well. So some markers aren't visible, like the tree at turn 1. Or some markers will be if you turn up that brightness that we've talked about in the past, that we did at Bathurst a fair few weeks ago, to be honest, where we cheated and got the tree visible. See, I'm trying to make a place here on the Polish driver. Nowhere to go here. Just contacted the rear, so unfortunately we're maintaining that speed now. Looking again to try and get the move done. Not quite working out here. Just enough Viper space there. We don't go for it in the end. little bit of a dab of the brake, through we go. Going to have a bit of a run here, and this is a very dangerous move. Don't recommend trying to go around the outside here. It's not really worthwhile doing, as you see here. We just understeer off there. We managed to keep 2 tyres on, so we don't have dirt on our tyres, thankfully. But the Polish driver, I think, feeling the pressure a little bit here. I'm not sure, Cuba, if you are watching, let me know if you are feeling the pressure here of me being all over your backside there as we head to the carousel here at the Nurburgring. So, chuck it in, hopefully let it use that banking to your advantage. We get a good little bit of speed there through there, round the back of Cuba here again. So where can we go versus Cuba? This is what annoys me about the Nurburgring. It's so hard to overtake as we look to try and make a gap there. Doesn't quite work out here. So now Cuba's leaving me a bit of racing room here. He brakes late there, so I'm going to go way, just trying to get it as through the right we go, and we just survived. A little bit of a flash there. Not sure if that was just you know, pressing the button accidentally or what, but I thought that was fair racing in my opinion. You see another Polish driver there. Creator off, and we get this next left-hander wrong. For some reason I thought it was flat. No idea why. It's never been flat in any race car I've ever driven in. Thought it was flat, so we pull it back, and we're going to advance a bit further on now in the lap. So I said my car was a little bit oversteery, and well, first off, I completely missed my braking marker here, and you notice I just understeer a little bit, and I pull it back, thankfully. Eventually. Hopefully, there we go. And then going into this carousel, just carried too much speed there. I'm not sure whether I had a knock on the back or dirt on tyres or the what. But we continue on all the same. I saw the 0.5 penalty there. Driver behind absolutely launches it here. Not the best place to go for a launch, because if I didn't really just hammer the brakes and slow down there, I was off into the barrier. Very bad place to go for a launch, especially with a 3-second penalty. I'd probably have just waited if I was you. You cost yourself time, me time, everybody time there. Not the greatest, but we continue on all the same. And we're going to see if we can catch up to the Polish driver. So I'd say I had a lot of problems with oversteer on this first lap. No idea why. Well, it was understeer then, but I'd been having lots of problems with oversteer. And you're about to see why. I'm not sure whether my tyres cooled down a lot during this straight. It could be the case. Might not be the case. I don't know. Because we did have a bit of a dodgy last sector as well. Maybe the tyres have cooled down to such an extent there's a problem. But heading down this hill, I brake in my normal fashion here. My normal fashion. I can tell you on lap 2 it's fine, and I'll show you lap 2 as well. But lap number 1, it doesn't work for some reason. So I hit the brake in here, and just the car wants to oversteer everywhere. So I'm trying to start literally control that oversteer. We just tapped the barrier, fortunately. Come on in a nice, safe manner there. You know, just on the edge of the circuit, allows people to go by. But the Porsche driver's going past us again. Don't. So yeah, the Porsche is going to have better tyres this lap, of course, as well, because it's an MR car. Anyway, we continue on to a little bit later on in the lap. Heading down towards the foxhole then, and of course if I'm here there's obviously something's going to happen here. Look at the sparks, lovely stuff here. Into the left we go, and yeah, the Polish driver heading off there, so made some mistake. Good safe entry though, to be fair. Might look a little bit dangerous, but you know, it did brake, keep to the left, so there was space there. I should adhere to those yellow flags, so all very well and good. And we continue on then with the racing as we continue to much further on in the lap here. So on this left, so here's about penalties. I ran all 4 wheels wide there. That gives you a penalty. I did not know that. It was good to learn that, to be honest with you. I've never experienced that before. I normally use all 4 wheels or get very close to it. Now I know you get a penalty there, which is interesting. Now in terms of penalties, we are 2.2 seconds behind the Porsche driver. What do we lose in terms of the Porsche? So 0.5 penalty, so it's 2.2. We're 0.6, 0.7 seconds, 0.8 seconds, 0.9 seconds. It's now a full second. This penalty, you know, really impactful. 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. So half a second penalty there. That's cost me 1.3 seconds, and it's still going up, so it'll be 1.4. Now, if you get a second penalty, that's going to be even worse. You'll be slowing down even more. So, you know, bear that in mind. Trying to avoid the penalties. Into the brake zone. I'm going to show you. I brake in a very similar fashion, and this time the car just stops perfectly on a dime. Lovely little brake in, look at that. No oversteer, absolutely lovely. How I normally do it. Through I go. Happy days. But as I say, Nurburgring, not one of my favourite tracks, which is why I haven't done a track guide. Put the cones on, try and use them to help you. Otherwise, I'm sure there'll be other lap guides out there. I'm not a green hell specialist in the slightest. I don't pretend to be either. I absolutely hate this circuit for racing. I don't think it's a racetrack. It's a time trial track. That's going to be it for me this week. Nico's career is not over. He has won the race. Happy days to that German driver there winning at the home circuit. I hope you enjoyed this week's video. As always, do like it if you liked it. Leave a comment if you want something changing. And hit that subscribe button if you want to see any more. Super GT's stream is there if you want to go have a look at that. Have a look at more Shadow Realm entries. But that's going to be it for me now, folks. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you in another video or live stream very soon.